Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me.
Hello. What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I am still doing my 31 days of horror movie reviews. I almost wanted to say unfortunately still doing, because I just got done watching 31. Yes, 31 is the newest and latest Rob Zombie Halloween film. It came out this year, 2016. And I have heard so much about this movie. I was recommended this movie from a few different people. And wow. The plot is we meet 5 carnival workers who ultimately at the end of the day aren't the most likable people. I mean, they're not complete assholes, but you meet them and they are what they are. Now, as they're driving, they get kidnapped. They get taken by these crazy clown people, and they get put into a fun house. And in this fun house, they have to play a game called 31. Why? I don't know. It's the day before Halloween, I guess. And they have to survive the next 12 hours. That's all they have to do, is survive for 12 hours, and then they can freely escape. What I thought of this movie was this film was a piece of shit movie. I mean, what the fuck did I just get done watching? This movie was awful. God awful. Rob Zombie, at least when he started making movies, House of a Thousand Corpses is what it is, but The Devil's Rejects was really something different, something special, I thought, something really gruesome. His last film, what was it, Lords of Salem, was so fucking bad. I mean, dog shit bad, that only in comparison, this new movie, 31, isn't as bad as that. So at least this movie has that going for it, but that's not saying much. The biggest problem I think this movie has, because there's a few, but the biggest is that the main characters, you couldn't care less about. You just don't give a fuck about them. They're, like I said, 5 carnival workers. They're played by, guess who? Sherry Moon Zombie, Rob Zombie's wife, of course. She's in every one of his movies, which is fine because she's a pretty good actress. She plays Charlie, who she plays what she plays best. This overly sexualized, kind of a slut. It is what it is. You get Jeff Daniel Phillips, who's in a lot of his movies. It's pretty much the regulars of Rob Zombie films. He plays Roscoe. You get Meg Foster, who I remember her in They Live, the John Carpenter, Roddy Piper movie. She plays Venus. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs plays Panda Thomas. This is an actor that I remember seeing in a bunch of movies growing up. He's been around since like the 70s. I remember him playing Michael Jackson's dad in that Jackson movie. I remember seeing this actor all the time. I haven't seen him in a while. And he pops up in this? Really? And he's playing some guy with a Jamaican accent. And I'm like, what is he doing here? How did Rob Zombie get this guy out of hiding to be in this movie and act ridiculous like he is? I don't understand it. I really don't. And it's really the dialogue. The dialogue is what kills a lot of this film. That's a big part of why you don't care about these characters, is because the stuff that they're saying, the jokes that they're saying to each other, the way how they're supposed to be likable. Like Rob Zombie, it seems like he doesn't know how to write likable characters. It's baffling to me why we couldn't have got a couple of characters, a couple of people who you actually care for, who you actually relate to, who you actually don't want to see get killed once they get taken. But once they do get taken, sure, there's some interesting parallels to the whole clown thing going on, the craze that everybody's afraid of clowns. So sure, maybe that one moment you could play up the fear of that, but that's not even there. Because once they get brought to this fun house, I will admit the premise is a little interesting. How these people are just fucking with them and they put them in this game, probably mostly for boredom. It's a cross between The Purge and like the Hunger Games. It was interesting, only interesting though because once you see some of the people behind this, Malcolm McDowell, this guy, I had so much respect for him as an actor. I know he's in his 70s. I know he's getting older and he probably doesn't give that much of a shit about really the work he's doing. He's just probably having fun, or he's playing dress up with Rob Zombie. I don't know, but it's ridiculous how he looks, the getup he's wearing, all of this. It's pathetic to see him in something like this. And when you see the killers, the killer clowns that are hunting them down in this fun house, one of them especially is a midget clown. And I know, I guess midget is like the N-word for them. They don't like that word. Who gives a shit? They weren't slaves and they didn't go through that much shit to be so uptight about that word. That's what they are. They're midgets. And this midget is not scary. It's stupid. It's silly. Maybe that was the point. Maybe Rob Zombie thought it was funny to have a midget clown chase people around and stuff. But like, what am I doing here? What am I doing sitting here watching something that only Rob Zombie finds amusing? Because I sure didn't. Sure, there's a lot of blood, gore, and guts, but that's the problem also with his movies, is that you never really feel tension. You never really feel scared. You never really feel intensity. It's nothing but stab, 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 blood, 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 and that's it. Practical effects? Okay, fine. You're using practical effects. Good for you, but give me something more. Give me something scary. Give me something that I can actually... I'm trying to find this plot interesting. I'm trying to attach the premise, but you're not giving me anything. You're really not. This is lazy, lackluster. The only thing really positive, like overly positive, that I could say about this movie is there's this character, Doomhead, who's played by Richard Brake, and this guy was fucking amazing. He was. The very, very first scene of this movie is him taunting this guy. It's in black and white, and a lot of it is just him looking at the camera, talking to him, but through us, and it's creepy as hell. He's wearing white makeup and then blood over his mouth, so it looks like the Joker. I know a friend of mine who recommended this movie to me really talked this guy up about how he should play the Joker, or he was such a Joker-like character here. And I agree. When you see him, it is almost like if you could have the Joker in a rated R movie and really just have him be overly sick and perverted, that's what this guy was. And those scenes I enjoyed. The problem is that he's only in it for like 2 or 3 scenes. That very first scene, and then he doesn't show up until the very end of the movie where they have to call him in because all of these other killer clowns are failing at their job. And there's some angles with him, like when he psychs himself up to get ready for this, and the psychosis behind him. They touched on it very briefly, but I found him interesting. The whole movie should have been about this guy, or at least about, or have him the killer, the guy behind it all. What is this? Like, I didn't want to rant and rave. I didn't, but this movie sucks, man. Is it worse than Lords of Salem? No, but that's because that movie was trash. This movie is awful, but it's like, I wanted to like it. I wanted to find it interesting. I wanted to get behind it. I wanted to be scared and awed by a newer horror movie. I just can't. I can't. I feel ashamed that I defended his Halloween movies. I feel ashamed that I've been trying to think that one day this guy's going to make a really good horror film and prove people wrong. And even though he keeps saying that he's going to stop doing horror, but he keeps putting out another horror movie. What the fuck? Fuck this movie. Fuck this movie, 31. It's a waste of time. Don't bother if you haven't seen it already. But if you have seen it, let me know in the comments below. What did you think? Did you like it? Did you love it? Whatever the fuck. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.
Please won't you save my desires?